Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the September 30th, 2025 meeting of the Abington Board of School Directors. I note the attendance of all board members, with the exception of Ms. Fazy, who's excused, and Mr. Mohammed, who is expected to join the meeting later. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Abington Board of School Directors has convened this evening's meeting at the Administration Building, and the public is welcome. This meeting is also being broadcast live on the Abington School District YouTube channel. For those members of the public who cannot participate this evening, this meeting is being recorded and will be available on the district's website and cable channel no later than October 3rd, 2025. Comments from citizens will be conducted in person and by phone. Instructions for calling into each public comment section of the meeting will be displayed on the screen during each segment. The board thanks the public in advance for its cooperation. This is a place where we hold dignity in high regard, and everyone's voices are respected and welcomed in this place. An executive session was held immediately preceding this evening's board meeting regarding assessment appeal litigation. That's, yes? Okay, and other litigation. Dr. Fetcher, do we have any additional announcements or agenda items?
Yes, Dr. Mowry. First, I have an announcement. I'm proud to share that the Pennsylvania Art Education Association has recognized Abington School District as an outstanding visual arts community for the 5th consecutive year. According to PAEA, this achievement is a testament to our district's longevity, commitment, and unwavering dedication to providing high-quality visual arts education for our students. The recognition also highlights our rigorous and inclusive programs, highly accessible opportunities, and the visibility of our arts program, all of which help build a strong, well-rounded educational experience for every learner. From my perspective as superintendent, it is also a testament to the art department and our terrific group of art teachers we have here from K through 12. I thank you all for all that you do to engage our students and harness their talents and their creativity. At this time, I'd like to move to a second announcement, but I'd like to move locations. I'm going to ask Dr. Mallory to join me at the lectern, and I'm going to ask Dr. Butts if you could join us over there as well. Okay. Thank you for your patience. So tonight I'd like to recognize that this night serves as your final board meeting, Dr. Tony Butts, our Director of Teaching and Learning, who will be retiring at the end of next week after 7 years supporting our teachers and serving the students of Abington School District. I am grateful that we had someone as experienced and knowledgeable as Dr. Butts leading our curriculum during this time period, which was undoubtedly a pivotal time in education. Just in Abington School District's education program, but also in public education as this occurred during the pandemic as well. Dr. Butts helped to lead our programming changes as part of our district-wide grade span reconfiguration and helped us modernize our teaching and learning practices with the digital transformation plan. She has been a terrific colleague, and while she certainly will be missed, we wish her the best in her next chapter. I would like to express my appreciation to Dr. Butts and ask that everyone join me in wishing her a fond farewell as she embarks on a much-deserved retirement.
I just want to add my gratitude to Dr. Fetchers. Dr. Butts was really critical in helping us get the district through COVID and collecting ourselves afterwards. So thank you very much for your years of service. We will miss you. Okay. Anything else, Dr. Fetcher?
Nope.
Okay. All right. That moves us to comments of board members. Mr. Allen,
Good evening, everyone.
Mrs. Brown,
Good evening, everyone. Welcome.
Ms. Eisenhart,
Yes, good evening and welcome.
Ms. Spalding,
Good evening, everybody.
Ms. Hartman,
Good evening, everyone.
Ms. Fraser,
Good evening.
and Ms. Lee.
Good evening.
All right. Welcome, everyone. We have a fairly busy agenda. Dr. Fetcher, can you please proceed with this evening's orientation?
Yes, Dr. Mallory, at this time, I'd ask Ms. Audrey Bear, Financial Advisor with Piper Sandler and Company, to review the proposed General Obligation Bond Series 2025.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. I have a couple of slides with just some information for the board. Please stop me if there's questions. It's good to be with you again. So we're here to talk about the potential financing related to the referendum that passed this year for the potential middle school project. This interest rate chart is just a reminder of where municipal bond rates have been and where they are now. We don't make projections. You'll see it end with current. We don't know where they're going. But you can see the COVID and immediately thereafter were the lowest rates in history. It doesn't matter how far back we go, that remains true. This page has a lot of numbers, so bear with me. The important part of this page is the column on the far right. This is all of Abington School District's existing debt service payments or debt. This includes the high school project and various other projects that have been completed. Each column is a bond issue. You see the year it was borrowed at the top, and each row is a payment, represents principal and interest, principal once a year and interest twice for each one. Again, the key is the column on the far right. You see we have the $11 million figure, which is currently in the budget for this year and has been, for the last several years. They're all fixed rate. They are locked in, and if you do nothing, these payments will stay the same. These numbers are important. As you see, they stay in the $10 million range through the term already in your budget. This is a visual representation of the same numbers, and the important part here, you will see that the dark blue piece, the teal, each one represents a different bond issue, but when you see them all added together like this, it's just a visual representation that the numbers are level year over year in your budget the best we can do with our final payment in 2044. Potential middle school projects. Estimated based on the referendum vote at $285 million. We're just early estimates here on timelines and figures. We're too early in the process to have everything pinned down, but for estimate's sake and to start the discussions, we are looking at potentially 3 borrowings, 20 million, 135, and 130 in the coming years. The figures, again on here, I know it's a lot of numbers, difficult to see. The first column is those same figures you saw earlier with the annual payments locked in, fixed rate. Those are your do nothing, already fixed in and will not change. Potentially, and again, we're early in the process, we don't have final figures or timelines, potentially looking at borrowing $20 million this year. The 135 would be in 2026. And the final borrowing, again, potentially depending on construction bids and timelines, in 2028. When you add all of those things together with the payments we already have in place, you see on the far right some estimates of what a future cost might be, again, if the project was $285 million. We have our current $10.7 million this year already in the budget, and you see for the next several of years, there would be increases in your debt service line item in your budget until we phase in the budget impact for the potential project. Again, these are estimated current interest rates and current figures. They will be revised as we move through the process. Any questions so far? Okay. From the board? This next page is, again, an estimate, an illustration. You have the principal amount of $285 million, which was the referendum amount. So that's a not to exceed figure for the borrowing for this project. Cost of issuance, other deductions, capitalized interest. And in this scenario, you would have $270 million available to finance those projects. These numbers, again, will fluctuate as we get bids and move through the project. There are two types of bond issues. You have a competitive sale versus a negotiated sale. A competitive sale is an auction in a 15-minute pre-selected window, and a negotiated sale is a more fluid, flexible process, where you select your underwriter ahead of time, and just like it sounds, you negotiate with them on the timing, watch for market variations, select the best timing to lock in interest rates. As you can see there, there's some flexibility, and it is a more common method for bond issues in the United States today. Of course, with any decision, there's always pluses and minuses of each side. Competitive sale, you get competing underwriters, but it's in a predetermined 15-minute window, and we do not have flexibility. That has to happen on a scheduled board meeting date. It's negotiated, we have more flexibility with timing, we can plan ahead, pre-market, solicit interest in the bonds, and do the best job to lock in the best rates. We talk about retail investors. What this means is individuals. Might be an individual that lives in Abington School District, it might be an individual that lives somewhere else in the state or somewhere else in the country. But a retail investor would be a person, Grandma Smith, that wants to buy a bond for their investment portfolio. Anyone with a brokerage account can buy Abington bonds when the time comes. Municipal bonds are sold in $5,000 increments. So for an investment of $5,000 or any multiple thereof, any individual can purchase those bonds as an investment for their portfolio. For a Pennsylvania resident, they get a tax advantage on bonds from any municipal bond, not just Abington. We call it triple tax exempt, meaning the interest they earn is exempt from federal income tax and state income tax. So that's why a lot of individual investors do like municipal bonds, and you will see a lot of retail investors interested in those for tax advantages. And that was the explanation of the direct, which is your individuals versus someone maybe purchasing for a mutual fund or a stock account. I know that was a lot very quick. Madam President, was there any questions or anything else you'd like me to give you more detail on?
Not from me. Any members of the board have questions?
Yeah, on slide 8, it mentions a project fund deposit of $270 million, and I know we're talking about 285 for the project. Well, is there a discrepancy there, or what's the reason for that difference?
Well, that's a great question. So $285 million is the principal amount or the amount of money that the district may borrow based on the referendum. It can be that number or anything smaller than that once we get through construction bids and we see what those costs come out to be. Now, if you look on here, there's some abbreviations. I can explain each one. The first line, it's abbreviated OID, OIP, and I know you can't read the footnotes, so I'll read it for you. That is original issue discount or original issue premium. This is a factor of the market. We do not have control of this. When you have a bond sale and you sell bonds to investors, whether they're retail, institutional, it doesn't matter. They're not sold at face value. And again, it's a factor of the market. So when this estimation was put together, bonds were selling at a discount, meaning less than their face value. That's the 8.5 million deduction that you see there. Okay, so that's a factor of the market. So that number added together is the proceeds line. The cost of issuance, underwriter's discount, and insurance are estimates at this point. Each time you borrow money, we get quotes for the bond insurance. So that pricing will change each time. But for sake of an estimate, we had to start somewhere. So you see those numbers there. That's all the costs of doing business, of borrowing money. The capitalized interest line item is the one that's a little more complicated. So capitalized interest is money that is in your construction fund that you use to help make the first couple interest payments when you borrow money. You do not have to do this. It's a tool to phase in the budget impact. That is how we get to the budget impact being over 4 years instead of hitting maybe in 1 or 2 years. It helps with the phasing of the budget impact. So that is borrowed money that you use to make interest payments. So when you add all that together, we're down to $270 to spend on your projects. Now you also, depending on timing, you may have some interest earnings and some other numbers to add to that. But again, this is an early estimate. It will all change as we go through the process.
Thank you.
I do have a question now. I think I remember Mr. Lionetti saying something to this effect, and I think you were just referencing it, that when the bonds are issued, it comes to the district as a lump sum. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then that lump sum is deposited in an interest earning account?
Yes, so the project fund deposit, the line item at the bottom would be wired from the underwriter to a designated bank account that your business office will set up for the construction fund. Yes, and same rules as school code apply to how you can invest and earn interest on that.
Okay,
Same rules that you're used to with your other accounts.
okay. Can you, Ms. Denicola, do you mind are the rules complicated?
The rules are not complicated. What it does, the rules provide for protections for school districts. So for the dollars that we invest in banks, they provide us collateralization letters that protect our deposits over and above the FDIC insurance.
Okay, okay. And and the interest rate on those accounts is just determined?
Market-based rates.
Okay,
Market-based rates.
okay, all right.
Remember, we don't predict interest rates.
No, I understand. That's why I didn't ask you what they are.
No, you
was
put
just
her on the
curious.
spot instead. No, I'm teasing. No, we don't predict those, but it's the same as your other accounts.
Okay,
School code state limits you, no stock options or anything crazy.
right. Okay.
So you mentioned a few people in Pennsylvania that purchase Pennsylvania municipal bonds, get tax advantages, and not to go into the weeds of that, but should a community member, or I guess someone that lives in Pennsylvania, be interested in, say, these bonds or any municipal bonds, who would you direct them to? Their financial planner? Like in this business, who is the person that would execute purchases for, Grandma Smith or whoever it is that you're talking about?
Sure, great question. So anyone with a stock brokerage account can call their broker, or if they have an account that they manage themselves, they can purchase bonds through that account.
Okay.
Or use their stockbroker, financial planner, whichever proper term you use for your individual that handles your investment accounts could do that for you.
And it's not just this, but it's any municipal bond.
Any municipal bond, that's right. And like I mentioned, all municipal bonds, whether it's a school, a township, a county, even Commonwealth of PA, they're all sold in $5,000 increments. All municipal bonds, yes. And the tax advantage that I mentioned briefly, for the investor, they don't have to pay federal income tax on it, where if they have a corporate bond or a stock and they earn money, they owe taxes on that. So we call that triple tax exempt here in Pennsylvania for a Pennsylvania resident. So you do get some benefit for that as far as tax time. And that allows you as a school district to pay a little bit lower interest rate than a corporate bond. So someone purchasing a corporate bond, they still have to pay their taxes. So you can say, well, you buy a Microsoft bond, you owe taxes, but if you buy mine, you don't. So you get to pay a little bit lower interest rate with a municipal bond. It's an advantage for you as a school district.
But checks aren't written to the school district. It's through their broker or through their
Yes.
financial planner. It's
Yes.
nothing that the district hosts.
Correct. So you, as a school district, you never have your possession of the bonds. Essentially, the underwriter, when they wire you this money, they're purchasing all the bonds to be sold in those $5,000 increments. You don't do that yourself. That's part of the underwriter's service to do that for you.
Perfect. Thank you.
I have one for you, please. On slide 6, you are showing almost incremental amounts at different series years. Can you just explain what that means or why that we're seeing different amounts of the 285 total budget, and any context to just help understand that a little better, why it wouldn't be all at once, for example?
Sure. So these three, I'll call them three buckets of borrowing, are based on a preliminary draw schedule. And a draw schedule is something that your architects and engineers and contractors put together, and it's how much money they think invoices are going to be each month. So they give us a monthly number. And this is, again, a very early estimate, but based on those early draw schedules that we received a few months ago from ICS, the $20 million would last through December of 2026. Now, again, that may change. So then once we get into the later years and there's shovels in the ground and construction really happening and lots of contractors on site doing things, those bills will go higher each month. So the bigger number, of course, is in the middle when we're in the heat of construction. And again, this may change once we get started with things. It might be that the second piece is 100 million instead of 135, but those will be based on the construction needs.
Thank you.
I know these are projections, but even with the projection, when would the homeowner expect to start paying in taxes for the bonds?
After the first bond issue,
Okay.
after the first borrowing, the next budget.
But if you could clarify, that would be graduated over the time of all three of the bonds.
Yes. If you remember that capitalized interest number that I talked about, that is also part of this. One of the advantages of being able to, and again, it's based on your construction schedule, but one of the advantages of being able to borrow in three pieces instead of all at once is, in fact, that ability to space out the budget impact and therefore your taxes. Our intention is to spread those over the years between now and 2030. Again, based on these preliminary schedules.
And just to be clear, there is no impact from the first bond for the 2025-2026 budget year.
Correct. That money has not been borrowed yet.
Okay, so homeowners or property owners would only see the impact from the $20 million bond in the 2026-2027 budget year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That is as we have it planned based on this draw schedule.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we're as clear as we can possibly be
Yes.
to
yes,
our
the
taxpayers.
intention, and again, we do have it labeled series of 2025. It would be borrowed in the 25-26 school year based on these draw schedules and payment needs. So borrowed during this school year, payments would start next school year. 26-27 is when your payments would start on that new borrowing.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
And same with the other two. It would be borrowed in 26 Payments would start the following school year.
Okay, great. Any other questions?
And just to clarify, the reason why we're borrowing 3 times is, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we only have 3 years after the borrowing. So we have to spread out the borrowing to cover the length of the project. Is that correct?
That is a factor in it, yes.
Okay.
And again, we're trying to match the borrowing for how much money we need to spend in a certain time period. And there's several reasons we're doing that. One is we have to spend it within 3 years. The other one is we want to borrow the money when we need it. When we need it. We don't want to pay interest on it before we need it. And most importantly is that budget impact. We're trying to spread it out the best we can over the term of the construction.
Thank you.
Anyone else? No? Okay, Ms. Lee? Don't want to forget you. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Did you want to add anything, Dr. Fetcher?
No.
Okay, all right, okay. With that, we will move on to our first section of comments from citizens. Comments from citizens are being conducted both in person and by phone. The phone number to participate in public comments is 267-715-3717 and is being displayed on the screen at this time. You'll be able to join the meeting by calling in on your mobile or landline phone. A citizen will be recognized once during this period of the meeting, and each citizen's comments will be limited to a total of 3 minutes, except at the discretion of the president. Time may not be yielded or otherwise transferred by one speaker to another for purposes of extending a given speaker's time allotment. If there's anyone present who'd like to make a comment, we'll do people in the room first and then move on to our 2 people who are calling in. Go ahead.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
John Spiegelman, 1217 Edge Hill Road in the beautiful Highland Farms section of Abington. Good evening, Dr. Mowry and school board directors, Dr. Fetcher and central administration staff, and all the neighbors of the school district. I'm here sort of in multiple capacities, but to speak to one issue that's on the agenda tonight. We just obviously talked about the important financial impact of the referendum, and as someone who's very involved in encouraging folks to vote for the referendum, I could not be happier to see that you have a responsible contractor policy that's on the agenda. I'm really very excited about this. I think that for those of us who supported the referendum and everyone who's going to be paying for it, this is not only a logical next step, but an absolutely necessary next component going hand in hand with the yes vote on the referendum itself to making the new middle school a reality. And in fact, being able to make confident decisions when it comes to building anything in the school district moving forward. As commissioner of Ward 11 of Abington Township, which is where we're all sitting, and welcome to you. I was heavily involved several years ago when we passed our own equivalent responsible contractor ordinance. And I can tell you, we haven't built quite as much as the school district is going to build, but we're going to be doing some building. And to know that is in place, to know that all the jobs that we engage, everything that we need to build, invest in, just like investing in the middle school, is going to be done right the first time and is going to last so that generations to come can look back and say, so thankful that the township had a responsible contractor ordinance, and then the school district hopefully will have a responsible contractor policy, and these investments were made so that down the road, we, future generations, don't need to worry about what is built. It was done right the first time. I will say, this is just because I know this is the first reading. Looking at your RCP threshold of 1 minute, thank you. I can do that. Looking at your RCP threshold, we actually had a lot of debate on the township side about what the threshold should be. And I know initially there was talk about making it much higher than it ended up being, because there was apprehension. People, the whole notion of an RCO, in your case an RCP, was new to everybody, and a little bit, maybe a little bit scary. What I advised my fellow commissioners was that if we believe in this policy, and it's a policy I absolutely believe in, we should go for it wholeheartedly. So we set a very reasonable threshold. Your current threshold as listed in board docs is 5 million. I would recommend or hope that you'll consider lowering that. Honestly, you can honestly lower it by a factor of 10, because I think 5 million is a little high, but that'll be a matter for debate. But again, very excited about this RCP. Thank you so much, and that's my time.
Thank you for your voice. Anyone else in the room?
Hi, how you doing? My name's Darby Doyle. I live at 448 Roberts Avenue in Glenside. I am in big support of the responsible contractor language. I think what you guys are doing as a board, you should be commended for it. I say it all the time. I speak on behalf of the Montgomery County Building Trades. I'm the chairman. If you don't want to have responsible contractor language, you should pass irresponsible contractor language. So I'm glad that you guys are doing it. And I also think the threshold, it seems high, but that's, up for debate. But I commend you, and I'm all for it. And I thank you for reading this tonight. Thanks.
Thank you for your voice. Anyone else in the room?
Good evening. My name's Kirby Toomey. I live at 2102 Fortune Road here in Glenside Gardens. I have 2 children at Copper Beach, one in 4th and one in 5th, and I'm really hoping that at least one of them can attend the new middle school, which I'm very much in favor for. I taught middle school for 10 years in the city of Philadelphia. I know the layout of our middle school. It does not meet the needs of our population now. It's not safe for a layout. It doesn't have a good flow. I'm very much in favor of a new building. We need a new building, and we also need responsible contractors to build it. When I taught public school, I had a bachelor's from Arcadia in English. I got my secondary ed certificates there. I have a master's from Cabrini College in education, and I did certificate programs at the University of Pennsylvania and Penn State University. And all of that made me highly qualified. I'm no longer using that. I am now a highly qualified union electrician. I'm employed by responsible contractors. And what one of my brothers just brought up here to show you, these are the textbooks from my coursework, my certified apprenticeship program. This is 2,000 hours worth of classroom time across 8,000 hours of on-site training. And I can tell you that this, for me, was harder than any college class I ever sat. There's trigonometry in these books, people.
Yeah.
Okay? I used Pythagorean theorem in the field the other day as a 40-year-old woman. And we know how to do it. We know how to do it right the first time. But I'll tell you what, we cost more. If I walked into your school district as a brand new teacher, bachelor's degree, or I walked in with my 10 years of experience and my master's plus 30, that is the difference of $22,700 annually. That's why we cost more, because we are the masters. The other people that you hire, yeah, they got work boots, they have a hard hat, they got high vis, they look the part. They can't do what we do, and they can't do it safely, and they don't have their OSHA cards. That's a national governing board saying that we have the training and we're safe. So I'm asking you, please go ahead with responsible contractor. You will not regret it. And thank you.
Thank you for your voice. As an English professor, I'm sorry we lost you. Did you hear me?
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the room? Mr. O'Donoghue, do we need to note that Mr. Muhammad is here now? Yes. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Go ahead.
Good evening, Joe Rooney. I live in Ardsley. First, I don't know if anybody else noticed the unbelievable sunset today. Maybe you were coming in or not, but it truly was an absolute gift. to go out as I was driving in just to see that. So I'm going to change focus a little bit, and I want to talk about it. I brought this up a couple of times. This book is part of the AP course that was promoted in the end of the last school year. And it was approved, and I've gone through it over the last couple of months. The other thing, real quick, I'm surprised nobody mentioned, today's tax day. So as we talk about all these expenses and everything, there's actually people who live in Abington Township who are paying their taxes today, and they're going to be paying this stuff for the next 40 years. So hopefully some of you have some sympathy for some of them. Freedom on My Mind is the history of African Americans. I'm going to tell you that this course treats our students like pawns. The committee referenced by the board did not review the book. None of the directors reviewed this book. We were lied to in that board meeting. We paid over $11,000 of taxpayers' hard-earned money for this book. The authors used the tired Marxist trope of oppressor and oppressed throughout this supposed history course. Our kids are getting a bad education from this course, and I would advise parents to pull your kids out of it. Their time can be better spent elsewhere. It violates a board policy regarding discrimination that was passed at the last meeting. Individuals are treated differently because of race. The book states that Abraham Lincoln was a racist. Fred Douglass and Booker T. Washington disagree. I provided some of your people with references for that. The book capitalizes the letter B in black through the entire book. It uses a lowercase w for white throughout the entire book. This is discrimination. Imagine a history of African Americans that doesn't tell one story of an African American Medal of Honor recipient, that never mentions George Washington Carver, William Wilberforce, Benjamin Lay, Thomas Sowell, Walter Williams, Wilt Chamberlain, Muhammad Ali, or Cassius Clay, Diana Ross. It is one sentence that mentions Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, and Ernie Banks. It spends one sentence on the murder of Malcolm X by the Nation of Islam, but has plenty of ink for Trayvon Martin, Rodney King, Michael Brown, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery. Get the picture? This history that's being peddled to our kids. There's an amazing quote on page 497 from a writer named W.P. Dabney. There will be no black communists in America when fair play rules, merit is recognized, race prejudice is ostracized. This book does exactly the opposite of this observation, and sadly, so too does Abington School District. This book should be pulled from Abington School District, and taxpayers should have their money refunded. The people responsible for this book
Your
should
time
be
is up.
shamed
Thank you.
and their shoddy
Please
work
take a seat.
exposed.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else in the room? Mr. Cargus, can you confirm that no one is on the line?
There are no callers.
Okay. All right. Do we want to give them a few seconds just in case, or are we good?
We're
Me?
okay.
We're okay? All right. Okay. Dr. Fetcher, is there anything you'd like to respond to?
Not at this time.
Okay. Anyone else on the board? No? Okay. All right. With that, we will move on to our agenda items. Ms. Eisenhart, can you please read the recommendation to approve the personnel addenda?
That the Board of School Directors approves the changes in personnel as reflected in personnel agendas number 5.1.
And 5.1A.
Thank you. And 5.1A.
Second.
Dr. Fetcher?
Thank you, Dr. Mowry. The personnel addenda begins with the change of status for 2 administrative staff members. With the upcoming retirement of Dr. Tony Butts, tonight you'll see under personnel that we are recommending a restructure of the teaching and learning department. I am proud to recommend to you the appointment of Dr. Stephanie Viola and Ms. Laura Nama, our assistant directors of elementary and secondary teaching and learning, respectively, to become the department's directors. As they have both been working under Dr. Butts during her tenure with us, I feel that they are fitting choices to continue the important work of fulfilling our district mission rooted in excellence and achievement. This restructure would change from 3 positions to 2 positions. The personnel addendum continues with the appointment of one professional employee, compensation for curriculum projects, interpreter and translation services, kindergarten orientation, and moving classroom preparation. Bring your attention to the retirement of Mr. Edward Harkins, mathematics chairperson, who has served the district for 34 years. Ed has been an effective leader in mathematics education with a heart and passion for our students. We appreciate all his efforts as his presentations provide clear data analysis that everyone can understand. Ed's humor has helped us our organization face difficult challenges with a humble approach. I also bring your attention to the retirement of Mr. Lawrence Santee, a bus driver in the transportation department who has served the district for 18 years.
That's it?
That's
Okay.
it.
All right. Questions or comments from the board?
Just congratulations to our new directors, Dr. Viola and Dr. Nama. And Dr. Butts, I know we shared before last board meeting how much we value you and your level of expertise, and we will continue to do that. But I do hope that the next chapter is your best chapter, so enjoy it. You look good. You look good. Retire well. For our retirees, congratulations, and I hope that you have a healthy next chapter.
Okay. Anyone else?
I also want to say congratulations to our retirees. Dr. Butts, congratulations and best of luck in all of your future endeavors. And Mr. Harkins was my son's math teacher at the middle school, and he only taught one section, and Max was lucky enough to have Mr. Harkins. My son does not enjoy math, and he loved his class. So I just want to say best of luck to him and good luck to everyone, and congratulations to Miss Viola, Dr. Viola, and Miss Anama for your new positions. Good luck.
Ms. Lee? Nothing? Okay. So, like Ms. Hartman, my daughter had Mr. Harkins, now more years ago than I would care to remember. But there probably wasn't a day when she didn't come home with a funny, engaging story about Harkins' math class. He has a real gift for engaging students, and I am very grateful that one of my kids got to have him, and I wish him all good things in his retirement. Congratulations to Dr. Viola and Ms. Anama. We look forward to working with you more as we move forward. And Dr. Butts, all good things in this next chapter. So, all right, Mrs. Flanagan.
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye, the ayes have it and the motion passes. Ms. Eisenhart, can you please read the recommendation for approval of the financial report?
That the Board of School Directors approves the financial report for the period ending August 31st, 2025 as reflected in addendum number 6.1.
Second.
Dr. Fetcher, we have a second?
I'm going to ask Ms. Denicola to please summarize the August 2025 financial report.
Thank you, Dr. Fecker. As of August 31st, we have collected revenues totaling $92,881,216. This includes $86,136,303 in real estate taxes. This equates to 16.2% of our budgeted real estate taxes. Compared to last year, at this point in last year, the district had collected 72.5% of budgeted real estate taxes. I want to call the attention to that as it might be alarming. However, I did look at our September collections. Our real estate tax collections early in September have been strong, and I anticipate that our September financial report will show real estate tax collections of at least 90%. So I think we'll be in a very similar position as prior years. Due to the state budget impasse, the only state funding received by the district was the state property tax reduction payment of $3,976,282, which is 50% of the budgeted amount. of $7,952,564. The remaining 50% of that subsidy is historically released by the state in October to the school district. Unlike other state subsidies, which are included as part of the state budget, the state property tax reduction subsidy is funded from a separate dedicated fund supported by the state's gaming revenue. So that is why we received that portion of state funding. District expenditures through August 31st, 2025 totaled $10,971,782, or 5.4% of our total budgeted expenditures. This amount is approximately $921,000 lower than the previous year. Of our total expenditures of $10.9 million, our personnel costs, our salaries and benefits account for 70% of our total expenditures, which is to be expected. Dr. Fecker, that concludes the financial report, and I'd be happy to take any questions.
Okay, questions from the board? No? I want to thank you for checking up on the September tax revenue. We are grateful for community members who are diligent in paying their taxes, in particular this year, because it gives us a bit of a cushion as we continue to sort of navigate the budget impasse at the state level. Okay, Mrs. Flanagan.
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye, the ayes have it and the motion passes. Ms. Eisenhart, can you please read the recommendation for approval of the payment of bills?
That the Board of School Directors approves the payment of bills for the period ending August 31st, 2025 as reflected in addenda numbers 7.1.
Second.
Dr. Fetcher, we have a second.
Thank you, Dr. Mowry. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have regarding the payment of bills.
Questions from the board? Are we good? Mr. Mohammed, are we good? Okay, all right. Okay, Mrs. Flanagan, if you would, please.
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye, the ayes have it and the motion passes. Ms. Eisenhart, can you please read the recommendation for permits for use of buildings and grounds?
That the Board of School Directors approves the applications for permits for use of buildings and grounds as reflected in addendum number 8.1.
Second.
Dr. Fetcher, we have a second.
The permit addenda continues to reflect typical requests for buildings and grounds, for meetings and other school events and activities for this time of year. I'd like to bring your attention to permit number 190, which is for Abington Senior High School's Community Trunk or Treat on October 17th at the Abington Senior High School faculty parking lot. And permit number 192, which is for the Red Cross Club and American Red Cross Blood Drive, which will be held on October 31st at, appropriate, at the Abington Senior High School.
Okay, questions or comments from the board?
Sponsored by Dracula.
As usual, I am humbled by the list of incredible activities that are happening within district buildings. Excited about them, and also the mix. There's quite a number for the Old York Road Symphony Orchestra that caught my attention. But just as usual, thank you to the district for offering spaces and resources to the community at large.
Anyone else? No? I'll second Ms. Eisenhart's comment and note that our facilities continue to be an important resource for our community. So I'm also grateful to the district for providing those spaces. All right, Mrs. Flanagan, one more time, please.
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye. The ayes have it and the motion passes. Ms. Eisenhart, can you please read the recommendation for awards of contracts?
That the Board of School Directors approves the awards of contracts as reflected in addendum number 9.1.
Second.
Dr. Fetcher.
Tonight, for your consideration, we have 3 awards of contract. The first is for our facilities management software. The next is for our HVAC water testing and treatment. And the final is a retroactive award to address an issue with the panels at the Abington Senior High School auditorium lobby. The panels that detached from the wall and fell. We need to have all the panels removed to begin remediation of the issue.
Questions or comments from the board?
Dr. Fetcher, the timing at which it fell was a blessing. Can you just speak to the safety of that area? Is there anything else how do we know that nothing else was done ill-fitting in that area so that it is a safe passage for students?
So the reason for the retro removal it was all panels. So as soon as there were, I believe, 4 panels that fell from the top row, and that occurred at 4 o'clock in the morning. And that next day, we began removing all panels so that the entire wall was removed in order to make sure that the environment was safe and that there wouldn't be any issues. From this point, we are working to remediate that issue and to see what went wrong, and also to ensure that whatever is the fix is safe for our environment.
Thank you.
Were Penn Builders the installers of the panels?
Mr. Curtin?
They were not, okay. And how many panels were involved or needed to be removed?
The whole entire wall.
Wait, how many?
Oh, how many?
That morning, I believe 13 or 14 fell. There were 4 that were remaining that did not fall. They were in a relatively precarious point, so we removed everything just to make sure that it was safe and there would be no further threat to the area. Everything's gone.
Okay, so 18, 20 panels-ish?
What's the
On the top row.
What's the total of panels that were removed
Total number of panels removed?
out of the entire wall?
I don't have that number, but it's in excess of 50, probably 70.
Okay.
And the award for the bid was for the panel removal or putting them back?
No, it was because it was an emergency, it's retroactive.
Okay, got it.
When this occurred, we needed someone to come in and remove all the panels because we didn't want to have the chance that anything else would fall.
So will we be putting in a bid to replace them eventually? Like that's, okay.
Yes, yeah, we will be replacing them. There are, various things that will be considered as far as this is concerned, aside from, being a legal matter as well as insurance matter and those types of things.
So insurance will cover the cost? Thank you.
If they don't, we will pursue that matter against the installation contractor.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you for that clarification. That was going to be my next question. I just want to second Mrs. Brown's observation that we were really lucky that this did not happen at a time when there were students and staff in the building, as well as the custodial staff who maintains the high school. All right. Any other questions or comments? No? Okay. With that, Mrs. Flanagan, we'll move on to the roll call.
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed,
Aye.
Ms. Spalding,
Aye.
Ms. Hartman,
Aye.
Ms. Frazier,
Aye.
Dr. Mowry.
Aye. The ayes have it, and the motion passes. Ms. Eisenhart, can you please read the recommendation for PSBA officer elections?
That the Board of School Directors cast its vote and register its selection with PSBA for the following positions: 2026 PSBA President-elect Holly Arnold, 2026 PSBA Vice President Matt Benoit, 2026 for Section Eastern Zone Representative Tasli Morales, and 2026 through 2028 three-year terms for PSBA Insurance Trust trustees Kathy K. Swoop and Roberta M. Marcus.
Second.
We have a second, Dr. Fetcher.
Thank you, Dr. Mowry. This item includes a resolution for voting for Pennsylvania School Boards Association officers and PSBA Insurance Trust trustees.
Questions or comments from the board? No? Okay. Mrs. Flanagan, this is a roll call.
Mr. Allen,
Aye.
Mrs. Brown,
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart,
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed,
Aye.
Ms. Spalding,
Aye.
Ms. Hartman,
Aye.
Ms. Frazier,
Aye.
Dr. Mowry.
Aye. The ayes have it, and the motion passes. Ms. Eisenhart, can you please read the recommendation for the reimbursement resolution for general fund middle school expenses?
That the Board of School Directors approves the reimbursement resolution for general fund middle school expenses as reflected in addendum number 11.1.
Second.
Dr. Fetcher?
I'm going to ask Ms. Benicola to please review this item.
The resolution was prepared by Attorney George Magnatta, bond counsel for board approval. The purpose of the resolution is to allow reimbursement of middle school project management expenses that will be incurred by the general fund in advance of the issuance of the planned 2025 general obligation bond series. Absent this resolution, the general fund would have to bear those capital expenses, which are appropriately not included in our general fund budget. Depending on the timing of the issuance of the middle school project funds, the district may incur up to a few $1 million of expenses for program management, site surveys, geotechnical exploration, preliminary civil engineering, and schematic design development. The board has approved a similar resolution for the high school project's 2017 A series general obligation bonds in 2017.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the board? No? So I'm going to, this is sort of a question, sort of a comment, but I want to say this publicly that given the budget impasse, this is particularly important because we may need significant amounts in our general fund to bridge a gap as the impasse continues. Okay. Okay. Anyone else? No? Okay. Mrs. Flanagan.
Mr. Allen,
Aye.
Mrs. Brown,
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart,
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed,
Aye.
Ms. Spalding,
Aye.
Ms. Hartman,
Aye.
Ms. Frazier,
Aye.
Dr. Mowry.
Aye. The ayes have it and the motion passes. Ms. Eisenhart, can you please read the recommendation for the approval of the board policies?
That the Board of School Directors approves the first reading of the board policy as reflected in addendums number 12.1.
Second.
Dr. Fetcher.
Thank you, Dr. Murray. At the meeting of the Board of School Directors on August 26, 2025, the board asked the administration to work with the Solicitor's Office to draft a responsible contractor policy. Tonight is the first reading of that policy. Dr. Mallory?
Okay. Throughout this process, the board has been sensitive to the magnitude of this project. And in recognition of that, and because we've also been cognizant of some of the challenges associated with the high school project, we've sought a means to ensure that the middle school project is carried out with skilled and well-trained labor. Given the community investment and the fact that this project will house our most precious resource, our students, it's my opinion that this policy puts the district in the best position to safeguard both taxpayers and students alike. Mr. O'Donohue, if there's anything you'd like to add?
Sure. The policy is modeled after the township's responsible contractor ordinance. As the board is aware, for construction projects, school districts are generally obligated to award to the lowest responsible bidder for separate prime contractors, general construction, electrical, mechanical, and plumbing. This policy, and we're required to award to the lowest responsible bidder. This policy does two things. To some extent, it formalizes requirements that the district has traditionally placed on bidders with respect to their integrity, their capacity, their experience. Those are codified here. Additionally, it adds some other requirements that the district did not previously impose, the most notable of which is a requirement that contractors participate and staff the project with individuals who are either participating in or have graduated from a Class A apprenticeship program. In this case, we've actually imposed a requirement that 70% of the labor hours on the project must be worked by such individuals, and that throughout the project to ensure compliance and ensure that the district is in fact getting that well-trained workforce.
Okay. Thank you. Questions or comments from the board?
A question about the capacity of a well-trained workforce for a Class A apprentice program. That would mean that they're regulated by the state as well, that training program, and also to meet safety regulations?
There are safety regulations contained in OSHA certification requirements in the policy. My understanding is that the certification process for the Class A apprenticeship is actually done at the federal level, but I'm not positive on that. But there is a set of regulations imposed upon that type of program requiring many different elements to the program.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Yes, if 70% of the labor union workers will be 70%, what would the other 30% look like? What might those scenarios look
It's
like?
70% of the labor hours. So for
Labor
example,
hours, sorry.
So there may be individuals who could be awaiting an apprenticeship placement who wouldn't be participating in a program yet, or there could be individuals who neither graduated from or participating in an apprenticeship program, but perhaps have some level of experience that renders them to be capable, but they wouldn't count towards the 70%. They would need the 70% would need to provide qualifications or certifications to show that they're either enrolled in and working towards an apprenticeship, or that they have graduated from an apprenticeship program. So there are possibilities both on the sort of the low end of experience and the high end of experience, but there's also the solid requirement of that well-trained labor force.
So what might the other 30% look like?
They could be individuals who are awaiting an apprenticeship placement, or they could be individuals who did not go through an apprenticeship program, but through their own work experience have acquired a mastery that allows the contractor to hire them, but they would not count towards that 70%.
Thank you.
On previous projects, high school project being the most recent, without this 70% requirement, who could have been working on jobs like that in the past?
Whomever the contractors could find to staff the project.
Who weren't in any apprenticeship
There
programs
was
or
no,
anything?
I mean, they didn't, it tends to break down a little bit by the prime contracts. Electrical, plumbing, and mechanical tend to have fewer subcontractors. In the general construction, there are so many different skills that go into that, from your site work to your carpentry to your masons to your just a litany of them. Yes, if a prime contractor were to find subcontractors who didn't have any experience or didn't have significant experience, they could work on those projects.
Which could lead to other issues if they make some sort of mistake. And
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. Can you make 5 million relative for me by giving an example, Dr. Fetcher, or someone from your staff?
Sure.
What is a project in the past that would not have made that $5 million threshold?
So most recent project that the district undertook was the playground construction for 7 elementary schools. It was approximately $4 million. And during that time period, we went out to bid 3 times.
And we went out to bid 3 times
Because
to get a lower.
we had a lack of response for bids in the project, and then an overbid of the project, so we had to go back out for bid, reject the bids, and go back out. So that's a project that the district did over. The project had been planned for over a long period of time, but that would be an example. I think the best example of a project that's under $5 million or getting close to $5 million, that is a smaller project. And, you know, there'd be concerns about gathering amount of bidders with meeting the thresholds and record keeping and things that would be required.
So in that particular case, it was beneficial to have a threshold of 5 million so that we were able to, if someone overbid, go back to rebid, and if there weren't enough bids, to widen the pool for bidders.
The threshold would apply to the policy itself and trigger when this policy would be implemented. So in this case, for that, the playgrounds, for example, the $4 million playgrounds would not have to meet all of the requirements of this policy.
Okay. I think my follow-up question, because I am in favor of this, let me just say that, the RCP, but with the $5 million threshold for the playgrounds, I know it's a recent build, but how the integrity of the playgrounds, do we have any reports of anything being faulty or any accidents because of the quality of the build?
We have no complaints at this point, but they're relatively new, so I wouldn't want to say that, you know, obviously, we're a month into school, and as far as injuries are concerned, well, I can't guarantee that there are never injuries on playgrounds, but as far as the construction is concerned, we are pleased with the construction of the playgrounds and the quality of the work.
Thank you.
Just a follow-up on that as well. As this is written, if you could just clarify or confirm regarding the $5 million threshold, that is the language that's currently used. If we use the current project at hand for the middle school, would it be interpreted that all construction, demolition, alteration, renovation, or modernization of buildings, structures, or facilities valued at $285 million, which is what the current project is limited at? Are we, is in reading this, is that stating that every bid that falls under that project would qualify for the language as written?
Yes.
Okay.
It applies to the project when the project value is over 5 million.
Right. So regardless, it's my understanding that we would get, you know, potentially multiple bids for smaller amounts within the 285, potentially under that 5 million.
I doubt you will get anything
Okay.
under 5 million on that project for any of our separate prime bids. We haven't, I feel like I'm really loud. We haven't gotten to the point where we've talked about potentially breaking out additional primes. Typically, it's general, electrical, plumbing, mechanical.
Okay.
For the high school, we also had fire suppression. There could also be, there would likely be an asbestos abatement. That could be under 5, potentially. I'm not sure what the scope is. But everything on the project, because that's the project, would need to comply with the policy. if it's a public works project. So there are certain things like inspections contracts. There are certain things that are not construction that, or reconstruction or demolition that might not fall under it. But the construction and demolition that will take place will all be subject to that on the middle school project.
So, can I just clarify? So, if I understand you correctly, the critical number is the total value of the project, regardless of how many bits there are, because the language says a project shall not be split into smaller projects for the purposes of avoiding this threshold.
It's that, and it's also the first sentence where it says all public works projects where the value
Okay.
is 5 million. So that's the operative, and then it says we're not going to try to bid electrical as one bid and then a month later bid plumbing so that we get one at 4 million and one at 3 million, and it says
Right.
we're not permitted to do that under this policy. We bid projects. So
Okay.
there may be times when things are bid separately for legitimate reasons, but you're not going to split up a project such as that to avoid this threshold. For
Okay.
example, you could have, at one point in time, there were thoughts about doing the playgrounds in different phases and bidding them at different times. And ultimately, what was decided was to combine them and do them as one. So again, that's just things that you do as an owner to try to make sure you're getting the right number of interested contractors.
So to use your example, in a situation where, let's say, different aspects of a playground were sent out for separate bids, the project would become redefined as the scope of each of those separate bids and not the playgrounds in totality.
I don't know what the problem is here.
Hold on, I think help is coming.
Thank you. Yes, I'm a little hesitant to use the playground because if you're working on the same, do I need?
No.
Okay. If you're working on the same playground, it'd be hard to figure that out. But I'm thinking of a situation where perhaps there was a plan to do HVAC renovations at a school. And maybe it was at one school, and maybe we decided to bid it separately at two different schools. Those wouldn't necessarily have to be the same project. In other words, just because I'm doing HVAC renovations at, say, Copper Beach, doesn't mean that HVAC renovations at Highland would, even if they're going on at the same time, would be necessarily the same project. Whereas if I'm doing phased work on a playground, I would take the position that is a project. That's not three different projects. It's one project being done in phases.
Okay.
So again, the project, because another example is the whole idea of the public works project is the prevailing wage requirement in Pennsylvania that applies to all public works projects. We wouldn't be allowed to split up a project into separate projects to avoid that threshold. That's only $25,000, so there's not much work you can get accomplished under that threshold.
Right.
But we wouldn't be splitting projects up to avoid that, same way we wouldn't be splitting projects up to avoid this.
Okay.
So, on this note, I think like looking for ways to what I'm hearing is like maybe making sure there's no way to subvert the policy. However, the board, this is a question, the board sets what the projects are. So if we're going to try and subvert our own policy, then why would we even bother doing this to begin with?
Yeah.
Like I don't know how, like, if the playground, if let's say if it was 6 million and we're like, oh, well, we're going to somehow try to subvert our policy that we just passed. I can't imagine us doing that.
So the other thing
the line of questioning is necessarily like.
The other thing I'll add is that you approve every procurement before it goes out for bid.
Right.
So the board can ask in that authorization for advertisement for bids, what is the estimated cost, or what is the range? Is this subject to our policy? So, and I frankly would expect that we'll get that question for the first several projects that go out after this policy is, assuming this policy is adopted. So, but yes, it is the board's policy.
And we set the projects that we're going to do.
You are the ones who approve the projects that go out for bid. You're the ones who approve the bids when they come in. So you will have ultimate control over the applicability of this this policy to projects.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I would just say that this threshold would apply, anything that's a major project within a district would exceed the $5 million.
Right. Yeah.
So this would be for, small projects with, limited scope.
Right. That's what I was thinking, because we maintain a significant physical plant. And so projects in the district.
You're not putting an addition of a classroom onto a building and for less than $5 million.
Really? No, I'm just kidding. Okay. All right. Further questions or comments?
I just want to say, in May, residents of Abington and Rockledge entrusted us with making responsible fiscal decisions for our community, for our students. And I think this policy is a step in that direction, in making a responsible fiscal decision and protecting the investment that residents have entrusted us with. And so I look forward to voting yes on this policy.
Okay. Anyone else? No? Okay. Mrs. Flanagan, this is a roll call vote.
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye. The ayes have it and the motion passes. So I just want to add some clarification to what we just did. We just approved the first reading of this policy, and we will proceed to a final vote in 2 weeks at the meeting on October 14th. Yes? Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page about that. All right, Ms. Eisenhart, can you please read the recommendation for election of the board secretary? Is that right? No, I'm sorry, for the confidential student matter.
You got it.
I apologize.
That the Board of School Directors approves the confidential student matters as reflected in addendum number 13.1.
Second.
We have a second, Dr. Fetcher.
Thank you, Dr. Mowry. The confidential student matters regarding an educational services agreement. Keeping in mind the confidentiality of student matters, I can answer any questions that you may have.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, we'll proceed to the roll call then.
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye, the ayes have it and the motion passes. Dr. Fetcher, are there any additional reports and recommendations by the administration and superintendent?
Yes, Dr. Mallory, I provide the conference attendance and professional leaves for your information.
Okay. As always, great to see our faculty and staff working hard with their professional organizations and with our students. Questions or comments from the board?
As a teacher, I get to attend some of these conferences as well, and it's always great to see Abington representing in the room.
Okay. All right. Any other business that appropriately may be brought to the attention of the Board of School Directors? Okay, that brings us to our second section of comments from citizens. So once again, comments from citizens are being conducted both in person and by phone. The phone number to participate in public comments is 267-715-3717 and is being displayed on the screen at this time. You'll be able to join the meeting by calling in on your mobile or landline phone. A citizen will be recognized once during this period of the meeting, and each citizen's comments will be limited to 3 minutes, except at the discretion of the president. Next time may not be yielded or otherwise transferred by one speaker to another for purposes of extending a given speaker's time allotment. So once again, we'll start with speakers in the room. If there's anyone in the room who would like to make a comment, please use the microphones to your right or to your left. Go ahead.
Hi, Joe Rooney again. Very interesting discussion. I had a lot of questions about that bond brief. Look, it was 411 votes in May, and you guys won in the primary. There was 49.1% of the people voted no. Their consideration, they should get some consideration also. You got $285 million approved to borrow right now. The vultures are circling. That's what this meeting showed tonight. So there's 15 million bucks that's going just the cost of borrowing money. So that's 5%. Now ICS is our project manager. I don't know the number, but it's north of 30 million bucks. So that's $45 million right now. Now you've got an RCO coming in. So the question I would ask is, what do we pay an ICS for? They're the contract managers. They're supposed to make, and I don't know the story about the panels in the high school. I'll learn about it later on. But somebody who's responsible both for installing them and the QA, quality assurance, that went along with that. I got nothing wrong. I have nothing wrong with people going through training. That young lady, I remember her giving that same presentation with the books over at the township building one time. But how much is it going to cost? And the funniest thing about it is there's not 1 second in the 15 million and the 30 million in the RCO that says how this is going to affect 5th graders reading or 6th graders math scores or how the 8th graders are going to improve as they're going to high school. There's no discussion on that at all. Y'all are supposed to be worried about education. And it's a whole lot more fun to talk about spending $285 million of somebody else's money. And then making up these plans of, oh, we're going to borrow 20 million now, 135 million. Who decided that? This is all just being thrown on us. The bond lady says, oh, we don't make any projections. Well, there was a lot of projections made prior to the primary. We can look back at 2017. We can figure out how much was our interest then and what did we pay? You know, I don't know if you guys know it, but we were giving out bonds for 5% for 18 months. Nobody in Abington had a shot at any of them. Look back at 2017. The rates were lower. Who decided on those 5% bonds? I don't know what they are now. I saw today it's going to be 5%. But there's a way, you are the board, you can make the decisions of how we do this stuff. You need to educate yourself on bonds. You're making decisions for 285 million bucks, and you're projecting it out probably out to 40 years from now. I mean, Mr. Allen will be just about ready to retire by then. You know, so, I mean, 40 years, my youngest kid will be 65 years old, and you're making decisions on that right now. You owe it to all those people to learn about this bond stuff, to figure out who wants a piece of that 285 million bucks and who we're protecting. Thank you.
Thank you for your voice. Anyone else in the room? No? I feel like I just asked my students a question. Okay, Mr. Kargas, can you confirm that there are no waiting callers?
We have no callers.
Okay. Okay. With that, we will move to final comments from school directors. Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Fetcher, did you want to say anything?
Just thank you all for coming out tonight. I appreciate hearing the voices of the members of the audience tonight, and also I think that the discussions tonight were rich, and I appreciate that.
Very good. Okay. Now we will move on to closing comments. Mr. Allen.
Nothing, thank you.
Okay. Mrs. Brown.
Happy Hispanic Heritage Month. It was from September 15th to October 15th, and I believe October kicks off Italian Heritage Month. So it is, in my classroom, we highlight mathematicians of the Hispanic culture and of the Italian heritage. So please continue to learn.
Ms. Eisenhardt.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who came out to provide such wonderful feedback. As usual, your voices are important and necessary to be heard in this room. So thank you for taking the time to do so this evening. I appreciate the dialogue and discussion from this evening and look forward to next meeting. Just one comment for all of our many wonderful teachers that are listening. I went to 3 different back to school nights these last couple of weeks, and was amazed at the level of competency, excitement, and energy that the teachers were bringing to the classroom. So thank you, and good luck to all the parents that may still be adjusting.
Mr. Mohammed.
As I was coming in, I heard an attack on the African American Studies curriculum that we are now implementing at the high school. And as an African American history teacher, I always started the year telling students that history can be uncomfortable. And learning history, especially the little known but extremely impactful aspects of history, it can make you uncomfortable. I have shed tears teaching history because of how uncomfortable it can be. But it does not make the learning of true history, truth in history, that's not an oppressive endeavor. It's not a racist endeavor. It is unveiling truths that have been hidden for centuries in this country. And knowing that truth in history is more important now than ever. Because when you know true history, you resist oppressive forces that are running rampant in this country today. Truth in history is not Marxist. Rewriting, denying, hiding, banning history is oppressive, is authoritarian, is extremely harmful, and it silences the voices of millions upon millions of Americans and people across the world. Truth in history is enlightening, and it helps to create enlightened citizens who go on to contribute positive things to our society. When people say we should not learn history, we should not learn true history, they are saying they want our society to be weak. And I am thankful that we are in a space where we are focused on continuing to teach true history, and we will not stand for the attacks on that history. Good night.
Ms. Spalding.
It's kind of hard to follow those comments from Mr. Muhammad, because I concur wholeheartedly with it. But my comment that I want to make is a little different. It's about the playgrounds. I've heard from schools, from children from 3 different of the elementary schools, and they've all told me how much they love it. They think it's the greatest thing, and they want to go to the playground after they get out of school instead of going home. However, I've heard from some of the adults, especially the older adult guardians, they said, how come they didn't put any benches in? They only have like 1, maybe 2, and I'm even an older person, and I take kids over there, and there's nowhere really to sit. So since there's nowhere to sit, you can't allow your kids to be there no more than half an hour, 20 minutes, because whoever designed that didn't think about the parents and guardians. So I just think that if we come up with any money, we do need to put some more benches in. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Ms. Hartman.
Thank you to everyone who came out tonight. Thank you for the rich conversation that we had, and thank you to Mr. Muhammad for speaking that truth, because that was really important.
Ms. Fraser.
Yes, I am the proud mother and a teacher. I've been teaching for formally 33 years, but then you add the 4 years of subbing, the past 4 years, 38 years, 38, up to 38 years. And I'm extremely proud tonight because my older son, who graduated from Abington, all of my children are Abington graduates, he recently became appointed at a school district teaching history and African American studies. And ironically, when this particular high school started teaching, or they provided the course, the first African American history course, estimating about 20 years ago, I had a parent say to me during back to school night or a parent teacher conference perhaps, he said that if that happens, I'm going to pull my kid out of school and my kid is going to do online. And to think 20 years later, my young son became a history teacher at that particular school and African American studies. So thank you for your articulation, heartfelt, and everyone have a good evening.
Ms. Lee?
I just also want to say that thank you for everyone who spoke today. I felt like it was also really insightful for me too. So just thank you. Good night.
Thank you. I want to thank Mr. Mohammed not only for the eloquence of his statement, but also for its erudition. I did review that textbook, and it's great. I wish they'd done more. Most importantly, our students can handle the truth. They're up for it. Don't sell them short. Thanks to everyone who came out tonight, for your comments, for your thoughts. We're grateful for them, and I look forward to hearing more about the great things that our students are doing in the African American Studies class and other classes, and also to taking the final vote on the responsible contractor policy. With that, this meeting is adjourned. Have a good night, everyone.